Planning to make this video for a while because I just finished The Exorcist, and it's probably a good thing I waited a while before I did this review just so I can let it sink in, because this is a very in-depth book. It's a page turner. I read this. I went through this thing like it's really good. I would say if you're a big fan of the film, definitely read the book, because I feel like if you watch the film but you haven't read the novel, you're really missing out. Everyone knows who The Exorcist is. If you don't know what The Exorcist is, you've probably been living under a rock. It's about a little girl who is possessed by the devil, and her mom is an atheist and doesn't believe in it, and it's a story about faith. My favorite parts of the whole narrative is when Reagan, who's the girl possessed, has the entities in her, the three different personalities, and they're interacting with the people in the house. The film, you really don't, the demon pretty much only interacts with just Father Karras, Father Marin, and Chris O'Neill, and then some of the doctors. But in the book, the demon interacts with pretty much almost every character in the house. One thing about the devil that I think is better in this book is that it's intelligent. You know what I mean? Easily, the devil could pick off every one of these people in the house if he wanted to. But it's more of a psychological attack. There's one part where Father Karras comes in to go see Reagan, and he's like, well, if you're the devil, why don't you just, make the restraints disappear and just take everybody out? And then the devil goes on this kind of, I wouldn't say a spiel, but kind of goes on for a bit saying, well, I'm a prince after all, and that's a vulgar display of power for a prince. Like, basically just saying, I'm somebody. And I really feel like they missed out in the film. Like, whenever I love the movie The Exorcist, but whenever you go back and you read the book, you're like, man, they really, there's certain scenes and characters that are in the book that aren't in the film that would have made it great. Intelligent conversations between the priest and stuff. Does the possessed Reagan throw vocabulary, have a pretty extensive vocabulary in terms of curse words? Yeah, of course. She does say some pretty messed up stuff, and this is one of those books where I was actually kind of offended, in a way. If I could pull a social justice warrior. Everybody's offended by every damn thing now. But there's certain things I just didn't like a character that young doing certain things. Yes, in the film, there are certain scenes that I felt were inappropriate for a character that young, but I just don't like, that's the only thing that kind of made me uncomfortable in it, as well as a lot of the medical exams. They talk about how she's all withered into the bone because the demon's not letting her eat, and she has tubes and hoses all in her. It also goes into more of why the head spins around, and there's a whole another part of the book about, witchcraft, and they talk about witchcraft, and that's why, she spins her head 360 degrees, is because a certain character dies under suspicious circumstances, and his head is spun around 360 degrees like a ritualistic murder. So it makes more sense. They briefly touch on it in the film, saying, oh, his neck was spun around, and it could have happened in the fall, but it's an odd chance that it would happen, and yada yada yada. But you definitely get more of a sense in here. I also feel like the exorcism at the end of the book pays off a lot more than in the film. Like I said, I love the film, but spoiler, each person they're coming in because she's ill. The physical body is ill, and they're coming in, they have to clean her up, check her heart, and the character is interacting with each of these people and bringing up dark stuff in their personal life. I'm getting chills thinking about it. And it was very well written, and there's a whole part where Damien Karras, who was struggling with faith, and really, you kind of get the sense that he doesn't believe, gets saved at the end, you know, and gets his last rites and all that stuff. And in the film, he just kind of says, "Take me," jumps out the window, and then you just kind of have a priest going like this over him. But you don't really get the whole thing of where he's asking him whether or not he accepts God, and he's squeezing like the priest's hand, like 1 for yes, 2 for no, all that stuff. Very kind of touching kind of thing. And it does have its flaws, but it's a damn near perfect book. I would put The Exorcist up with like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or To Kill a Mockingbird or one of those books, because it's good. It's really good. I think some people kind of shun it because it's a horror book. But really, the interesting thing about it isn't so much the horror, but the relationships between the characters. I mean, it really is about broken families. And it really is a good book. It touches on things like addiction, alcoholism, drug addiction, stuff like that, as well as faith. And it's just a good story. So, The Exorcist, I would give it... I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Definitely check it out. You could pretty much find this anywhere online because it's The Exorcist. Like I said, you probably be leaving under a rock if you couldn't find The Exorcist. I had my glasses off, by the way. That way you didn't have to see a glare throughout the video. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Have a great day.